Hey everyone, it's Coach Arlen Bento Jr. Welcome to my indoor center. Going to help you at your golf game. Going to start a new series, okay? In studio, I've got my son George. Say hi, George.
How you doing?
Now, George has recently got the golf bug, okay? Now, he didn't play as a kid growing up. Big, strong, big football player, went to college. And I tried to get him to play a lot of golf, but it never really took. But now, like a lot of young people out there, he fell in love with the game, right? So here's this series. We're going to try to turn George into a scratch player, okay? This is not going to be easy. He's got a good swing, okay? It's not a bad swing, but his knowledge is here. He is 10%er, okay? We have to get him to start to think like a professional or really highly skilled player. So the first goal is to just get to where he can shoot in the mid-80s consistently. I think he's not far away, but we went on and played, and we saw really quickly that he's been playing a lot of like 2v2 scramble things with his buddies. But the problem with those, and I know a lot of people like playing that format, is you really don't count all of your shots. So like we learned the first time we went out, you hit a good drive, right? Miss a second shot, it went in trouble. It was actually like a planter area with trees and rocks, and normally he wouldn't hit that shot, but he had to play it, right? Miss, stuck, get on, 3-putt, right? Makes triple, and we talked about it kind of like kill fight, right? Like his brain was like, oh no, it's over, right? Because normally you would have just made 4 because your buddy would have saved you or whatever, right? So for those of you that are watching this that are younger, so I'm going to say, I don't know if I told you this, but for the first time in golf history, the biggest group of golfers are 35 years old and under. So there's a ton of young people out there, especially young males, that are playing golf, that are enjoying the game, but you're not really playing real golf yet. And I don't mean to be like mean or anything, but until you have a handicap that you actually keep all your scores and you play in some competitive style events that isn't just scrambles, right? You don't really know how good you are, okay? So the goal for George is to bring his handicap down, get his scores down from middle 80s, barely breaking 90, into the low 80s, into the 70s, and we're going to see how long it's going to take to try to get him down close to par, okay? So par players who shoot par all the time, we call them scratch, right? Which is hard. I consider myself a scratch player, but that's not really true because I don't play enough. But if I play my club where I teach out of, which is not a, 65, 6,600 yard golf course, and it's kind of open. It's not a hard golf course. I can get around that pretty good. Yeah. But again, I also know that if I went back into a competitive environment, I was playing harder golf courses with, double cut greens and rough and whatever, it would be really hard for me to play well because I don't play a lot. I coach a lot. But for him anyway, we're going to start at our course, see how good we can get him, going to watch his swing develop over time, and teach him a lot about how better players think. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to hit some shots, okay, and we'll see what he does with it. You might shank these because now you feel like you got pressure. I don't think you will, but he was just hitting it great. So go ahead, let's hit a couple shots, and I've got a stick on the ground, just kind of like to be his target line, right? Go ahead, hit a couple shots. Let's see what we got. So good strike, face a little open. So again, on a green, but like a little to the right, right? So what club are we hitting here? 7. So he's got his 7. He swings really fast. So we're in driving range mode here, which kind of looks at this like he's hitting wood. So the numbers are going to be a little long in driving range, but we're still just working on data. So here's his data on that one, right? So into the ball 1.8, which is good club path. Face open 3.4, so that's why you had a little push. You swung at 82 miles an hour. You hit it solid. Your smash factor was 1.46, which is good. And the ball carried 190 yards, right? So let's try another one. And what we're looking for now is just his tendencies, like what the ball does, right? Caught that one a little better? Yeah. And we really didn't do anything different, right? No. Yeah. Okay, data in that one, very similar. Okay, so 0.8, 1.2, got faster, hit a little bit further, smash factor is good. So as you can see, he's got the raw bones here to be a good player, right? Now, there are a couple things that he does that we're working on. One of the things that I notice a lot of is in his first move away from the ball, he tends to like get the club going like this a little bit. And I'm not sure yet if that's enough. I mean, for most people, that's a lot. And then he has to time that coming back through. We don't see a lot of trouble until we start to get to the longer clubs, right?
Yeah.
So that 7-iron feels pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go grab something out of your bag. Let's try that 4-iron. So normally as we progress from the short and mid irons into the longer irons, the club has a harder time squaring up. It starts to lose its loft, it gets a little longer, and it just doesn't want to go as straight. It's just the nature of the club, right? So let's go hit the 4-iron. Do you make any adjustments in your head on this one?
Put more round on it?
What about ball position-wise? Do you change it or you
A
can't?
little bit forward or no?
Yeah, it should be a little bit forward, a couple inches. Remember, the low spot in the golf swing is always about 3 to 4 inches forward of center.
Okay.
So when you get to these longer clubs, the club wants to bottom out 3-4 inches, right? So it should be forward. But go ahead, do what you normally do. Let's see what it does. So I heard heavy contact, right? So you see how the ball tends to want to like stay more open? That's just the nature of having a longer club. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit a couple on the divot board. So let's pretend that's the ball. Play it a little forward in your stance. And let's see what the divot board says that contact, because that sounded heavy on the first one. So that you overcompensated, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. That was good. Okay, so let's go to the ball with that idea. So that was really good because he actually hit the ball and then made his divot. Okay, let's try one. So he really turned the club left. Did you feel like you did that on purpose, or was that something just kind of came out? Okay. So what's going on here is you're seeing a lot of club manipulation with his hands, and that's going to keep him from becoming a better player. Try another one. So again, if you open the club a little bit too much going back, then you're going to have to compensate, right? We'll see. So see how it's getting wild? So again, 7-iron, 200 yards, no problem. 4-iron, can't find the club face, right? Okay. So here are some things that I'm trying to get George to pay attention to, okay? And these are subtle. And those of you that follow me on Instagram, if you're watching this, I don't have a ton of long format stuff out there. You're going to see a lot more from me. A lot of times you see videos that I'm coaching people and you're not getting a lesson. You're getting like little clips, right? And there's a progression when you teach a lot of golf like I do. You can't take it all in one chunk. You have to like learn feels and adjust and kind of go through the learning curve. That's how it is. You can't just say, do this and you get it. I wish it was that easy, right? Okay, so let's go top of the backswing. So one, we're going to play, let's make sure that that ball is definitely forward. So that's centered, right? You got to slide that way. That's forward. So that's maybe too much though, right? Just a little bit. Yeah.
So forward is a backwards step.
Yeah, so there's more space from your center point to your back foot. So right now,
we're playing above forward is
that's back.
back.
Yeah, because there's more space that way, right? Forward means the ball position is closer to your front foot.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Now your front foot should have a little flare to it so you can get your hip out of the way. Okay, get in your posture. Let me see what you look like. So you look okay. I always think like George is big through his upper body, but this shoulder should be back just a little bit. See that tilt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too much, just there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, go to the top and don't swing down.
All irons or just long clubs?
Just this one. Yeah, you get a little open, I think, throughout the game, but that's square. What you felt is square. You're always a little open. Okay, there. Now go to the top. Hold. Yeah, so he fixed what I was going to fix. So I want the club to feel for him like it's a little laid off. Okay, so depending on what you think about the golf swing, I like this position. I want it on its plane. Now at the top, there'll be a little leverage where that'll square up for a lot of people, but I like that position a lot. Okay, now he tends to get a little cross the line at the top. You'll see in some of his swings. And when he does that, it's going to require a lot of manipulation at the bottom. So I'm trying to teach him to be from here a little bit. His shoulder's got to go down a little bit. A little flatter in there. So his right elbow can stay down. Perfect. Hard to get there though, right? Doesn't feel natural, right? Okay, let's try again. So he's going to do his best to try to get the club in that position. So try it. And then let's just kind of make a swing and see what comes out. You're going to feel like you don't have to do as much with your hands. Yep. So he came across it a little bit. You felt it? Yeah. So he came 4 degrees from the outside. So he got a little pull, but the motion was good. Yeah, do it again. The contact was good. Now we're using a tee now because I don't want to deal with the ground. I just want to deal with like a few little changes, right? So his body's going to have to unwind a little differently. So what happened there is his shoulder got slightly out in front. And you never want your upper body and your lower body to move at the same time. You want to have a little bit of separation. So you're here, the hips start to move out of the way. The body kind of tilts into side bend, to shallow, right? And then the right shoulder comes around as you clear, right? So the legs are going this way. The upper body is coming this way. You're going to stay in this tilt. All good players have a lot of tilt through impact. And then he's just going to push forward and release. I don't think those positions are in. They're a little bit off. I don't think he holds his tilt really that well. So try to get to that top where you feel like the club's a little bit laid off, we'll call it. That's, actually, you were in a good place. You didn't need to feel the leg, because that's, remember I said he can set it? Like, that was perfect. And just turn on it. So I still see a little bit too much force starting from the hands, right? So the top of the swing, the first move, the hands are piling down so hard. Okay, let's practice. Go top. All the way up. Okay, we need to feel some kind of softness. You feel the club's kind of floating in here. Let it fall here while you're turning. So the club doesn't come forward, it shallows. Yeah, soft, yeah. It's going to throw off your timing. You might hit some horrible shots when you first try it. Do it in slow motion a couple times. Feel that transition very smooth. Left foot, turn your left foot. Yeah, otherwise hips don't get out of the way. Transition. Different feeling. The hands and wrists feel soft or they feel hard? Soft. Okay, so try that feeling and make a swing now. Let that club stay behind you a little bit while your hips get out of the way. Boom. Ooh, that was pretty nice. Okay, two things are going to happen here. He's going to catch one, and it's going to look good, or he could shank. Because the club is behind you, right? Yeah. And the club's going to get out in front of you if you're not careful. Try one. Tee up a ball. Let's see what happens. You might be shocked how far it goes, too. I don't want you to feel like you're not swinging. I just want you to have a sense of that transition, that softness back there. Yeah, forward ball position. Nice turn. You know, I like that one. It was a little open, but I did like that transition. So what do you feel like that is like? You just feel like it's slow?
Dropping.
You feel it dropping?
Dropping.
Yeah. So that yellow X, if you're watching, that yellow X on the ground, the reason why that yellow X is there, because I tell students the feeling of the transition, if you're stuck, like they can't figure it out, just feel like the club sort of falls there. It never does,
yeah,
because the body's going that way,
yeah,
right? You've already shifted and rotated, right? And that separation, the arms will just feel, I feel like that's part of side bend.
Yeah.
And the body's just sort of side bending a little, and then it, boom, it fires around. So just trying to. So let's go to the top and feel that softness towards that X. Close, close, just do another one. Yeah. So, and again, what he's experiencing is he's normally going to come over it a little bit, right? And then the face would kind of square up because it's over. Now he's from the inside. So just so people watching, so that last swing, according to the data, he was inside 0.2, like perfectly square. See the numbers?
Yeah.
So his swing was really good there, but the face was a little open. Now, let's talk about the face, okay? So this is this manipulation thing on what does what and when. So set up over here. All right, so start swinging the back into your backswing, okay? Here, good. Okay, so the textbook says 35 degrees here, roughly. So this bottom line in your spine kind of parallel. You could be a little more rotated here. Yep, right there. Okay, so now what he's doing is he's coming down and it's slightly here, right? It's a little open. So why is that happening? Because all golf swings have about 20 degrees of rotation through the rotation of the arms and the hinging of the wrist, right? So it's going to do this no matter what he does, and it has to close up. The hard part is, I think that he feels it a lot in his right hand, on his right side. The problem with that is the right hand does hang naturally behind the golf ball. So if you're forcing the right hand down, you tend to hit the ground a lot. Take this right hand off. What I want you to notice is watch his left wrist. You see this motion here? That's what you see a ton of in the better players. As they've kind of created this shallowing motion, you start to see this happen. See the wrist? It's starting to rotate. The wrist is turning down. That's how they're getting the club back to 35 here, or whatever that number is. For everybody, it's a little different, but let's say 35. And by the time they get here, there's no manipulation through the ball. He's just rotating like a hammer and slamming it. So he's not feeling a ton of this going through the ball, right? He's feeling here, smash it. The right hand's more like this, working like that. And the left hand's square, boom. He's going to rotate, extend more, right? As he extends, there's all kinds of power at the bottom. So what I want him to feel now is he's going to set it at the top. He's been great there. And then at the bottom, he's going to try to feel this, which is hard because it's two different feels, right? He's got to set the club differently. And then he's got to feel his left arm rotate down. See if he can time it. Closer. So it took away the ball going right. Path was good, slightly from the inside, face was square. But the timing's weird, right?
Yeah, that's why it's not long.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that it wasn't long because you didn't hit it good, right?
Yeah.
But look at how straight that was.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we got to get through these little things before the game comes. Okay, so hang on a second. So that's going to be it for our first session, okay? So I hope you guys like this. Now, this is going to be based on my Shoot Par Now learning system, right? If you haven't seen Shoot Par Now, you can go to the website, shootparnow.com. You can check out my new show that we just launched on YouTube. That comes out usually every Tuesday. And keep following my Instagram. It's Arlen Bento Jr. We're going to build a little Instagram for George too. So if you want to follow him in his matches and some of the things that he's working on. Today's lesson was just an introduction about what we're working on. We're actually going to go through the whole bag. We're going to go through the system. We're going to talk about scoring. We're going to talk about chipping, putting, the whole deal, how to strategize. So over time, I think you're going to find this very helpful to your golf game. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, right? So you know when we put new stuff out. George, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys really, really soon.